Welcome, students. Today we'll begin the part two of our letter to a leader. Today we'll begin collecting facts. So how are we going to collect facts? Well, before we can do that, I'd actually like to take a look at a letter to a leader that a student of mine wrote a number of years ago. It's a letter by a student named Anna Nowatzki. I'm just going to read through this briefly here. She wrote a letter to the SumDog staff. Now, SumDog is an app, a math app that you can use on your iPad, and she had some feedback that she wanted to give to the people that made the video game. Here's the letter that Anna wrote. She wrote, Dear SumDog staff, my name is Anna Nowatzki, and I go to a public school in St. Paul, Minnesota called J.J. Hill Montessori. I love your website and your games. They're great fun. They are a great fun source for learning and practicing math. In our class, we like to do SumDog for free choice and for homework. Our school is a peaceful community where kids from every background come to learn. While SumDog does feature avatar boys and girls that seem to come from different races and cultures, I have noticed that, correct me if I'm wrong, there aren't any kids wearing hijabs. I think that it is important for everyone to see themselves in movies, books, and, believe it or not, video games too. There are a couple reasons why I believe this is true. Video games are a big part of our culture. Last year, video games made 4 times as much money as movies. 73% of African American teens 13 or older report playing video games, but they are less than 3% of the main characters in the top 50 video games. When we see someone that looks like us in the media, we feel happy to have been included. More importantly, when we see ourselves in the media and in positions of leadership, we feel like we can do great things too. I'm writing you to ask you to consider putting a few hijabs in the clothing section, and maybe even some more fancy ones you can buy in the store. Would that be possible? I bet a lot of people would be happy if you did, and it might help make Muslim students feel included and hopefully encourage more Muslim girls, and girls in general, to pursue their dream to be a computer programmer. Your friend, Anna Nowatzki. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some of the facts that Anna collected in order to write her letter, because she includes lots of good facts here, and those facts are what help make this letter really want maybe for someone to maybe see something new and perhaps change their mind or try out something new. So what kind of facts does Anna collect? Well, the first kind of facts, well, what is a fact? A fact is information that helps us understand something better. And facts help us make decisions. So she includes facts that help maybe someone understand that this game does not have any hijabs. The avatars can't wear those as clothing, and maybe this will help the people who make the game make some decisions. So what kinds of facts are there? Today we're going to look at a few different kinds of facts. We're going to look at examples, data, and actions. These are 3 different kinds of facts, and you're going to be collecting these kinds of facts. Examples are facts that tell about the problem. Anna's letter says that SumDog does feature avatar boys and girls that seem to come from different races and cultures. But she says, I have noticed that, correct me if I'm wrong, there aren't any kids wearing hijabs. So what is the problem? That's what we're going to be, that's one of the things you'll be collecting facts about. Other examples are, homelessness affects children, teens, and adults. It is caused by a lack of affordable housing, unemployment, poverty, mental illness, and the lack of needed services, and substance abuse and the lack of needed services. Scientists attribute the global warming trend observed since the mid-20th century to the human expansion of the greenhouse effect, warming that results when the atmosphere traps heat radiating from Earth towards space. So one of the things you'll need to do is collect some facts that explain what is the problem. You'll try to collect as many different facts about that as possible. To do that, just use a search engine. You can go to Newsela. That's a great source for finding information, and you can, of course, change the reading level, which is nice too. Or just go to Google and type in a word about your problem. I wouldn't recommend typing in a whole sentence. Just use a couple keywords. So, for example, if you are researching about homelessness, just type in homelessness or what causes homelessness. If you're researching global warming, you might just type in global warming. What causes global warming? So we're trying to understand the problem and what causes it. The second thing you're looking for is data. Anna's letter says that 73% of African American teens 13 or older report playing video games, but they are less than 3% of the main characters in the top 50 video games. Data is numbers. Data are numbers that tell you or show you something about the problem. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer youth who die by suicide are 5 times more likely to have been bullied than their straight counterparts. So this explains some information about why, or rather how, LGBTQ youth being bullied might make them more likely to harm themselves. According to the latest scientific panel report from the United Nations regarding climate change, our planet will be 1.5 degrees warmer by 2040. The reason might not come as a surprise. Global warming, indeed, Earth has been getting hotter by 0.2 of a degree every decade. This is information that tells us the problem. Drug overdose deaths rose from 38,329 in 2010 to 70,237 in 2017, followed by a significant decrease in 2018. So this data helps us understand the problem. The problem is getting worse, or maybe it was getting better. Over the last decade, a surge in lithium-ion battery production has led to an 85% decline in prices, making electric vehicles and energy storage commercially viable for the first time in history. Batteries are getting cheaper because the technology is improving. Now people can afford to buy electric cars. These are numbers that help us understand something about the problem. The last thing is action. Oops, and this should be different, but it says an action. These are ideas that help us solve the problem. Anna's letter says, I'm writing to ask you to consider putting a few hijabs in the clothing section, and some maybe even some more fancy ones you can buy in the store. Other examples might be, I think we should have more books that teach us about different cultures. I think we should have a recycling program in our cafeteria. I'm hoping that we can establish more bus routes so people do not need to walk as far to catch the bus. What kind of actions can people take? A great way to find actions are to use the internet and just type in, for example, what can we do about blank? What is your topic? So if your topic is homeless, what can we do about homelessness? What can we do about racism? What can we do about drug abuse? And of course, you might have ideas of your own, and you're welcome to include those ideas. In today's follow-up work, you're going to, again, write down your topic, and this is where you'll collect those ideas. So what is the problem? So what causes homelessness? What causes drug abuse? Whatever your topic is. What is the data? And again, you can just type in homelessness, data, drug abuse, data, and you can get some good numbers that help us understand the problem better. And finally, what are some solutions? What can we do about blank? What can we do about homelessness? What can we do about racism? So go ahead and fill this in today and submit this for your follow-on work. Can't wait to see what you come up with, and do let us know if you have any questions or need any help.